Yo, what is good, people? Welcome back to another episode of the F1 2023 My Team series here on the channel. If you are new to this series, there's only been 2 episodes before this one, so make sure you go back and check those out to get up to date with the series so far. There is a playlist on the channel, so you can find that easily. And if you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers. I'm trying to hit that before my birthday in mid-August. That would be a great milestone to hit before then, so please subscribe if you're new and hit the like button before we get into today's race. Now, we do have a few parts coming through in the R&D. We won't get them before this race, but big parts that we need: rear downforce and weight reduction. 2 major upgrades that I've been talking about since episode 1 of starting this career mode with this brand new car with the Dream Racers, obviously being the name of our team. Main upgrades I want to focus on was weight reduction, make the car lighter, faster in a straight line. Focus on downforce too, that gives us more speed through the corners, so focusing on speed through corners and in a straight line, a good way to go about it. Now, we've had a rough start to this career mode so far. Morgan Elliott as our main driver, he's finished P20 and P22 in the first 2 races, and our sub driver Enzo Fittipaldi, or second driver I should say, finishing P16 and P15, so a good start to the season for Fittipaldi. Hopefully he can have a similar result today in Australia. A new circuit layout to the Australian Grand Prix for this year. I can't remember if it was on the last game. That really just has gone out of my head. I can't remember if I've even ever drove on this new circuit, so I'm looking forward to getting into this race today, or I was when I was recording it anyway, and going through this new layout of the track. So let's jump straight in to qualifying, and hopefully our main driver Morgan Elliott can do better than finishing last like he did in the first 2 races. We've had a few developments come through on the car, so the car should be a bit better than those first 2 races, but yeah, let's see. Let's jump into our first lap here at Albert Park in Australia, getting a bad exit out of the last corner there. It's so easy to lose the rear end out the final exit or the final corner. You try and get on the throttle too early, the back end of the car just steps out, but down into turn 1, using a lot of curb there, and it gets us out of shape. So we missed the apex of turn 2, get out of shape already through turn 1. Not what we like to see to start a lap, but let's just hope we can make up time elsewhere in the lap. Braking down to 3rd gear, swinging the car to the right, because we need to go right and then left on this corner, so trying to keep the car as far to the right as we can. Flat out through this corner here. So satisfying to take corners flat out in an F1 car, I'll tell you. The curbs quite forgiving, but quite unforgiving sometimes here in Albert Park. You know, sometimes you can ride a lot of the curb and get away with it, and then other times it will just throw your car into the shadow realm, so you don't want to touch the curbs. But yeah, you can really take risks at this circuit. Getting into the new section here, which was the completely flat out section we've just been through. Again, you see we're touching the curbs there, sliding a little bit through the chicane. Nico Hulkenberg moves out the way for us nicely there. I thought he was going to impede on our lap into the braking zone like Fernando Alonso did in Jeddah last race, but he didn't, thankfully, and through the final corner, flat out into the final turn, which is a very tricky left-hander here, very slow turn. And then, like I say, getting on the throttle as early as possible, coming through the last corner, pushing it wide on the exit, taking a lot of the curb. Not too much though, because we'll get invalidated for track limits. A fairly long run to the line, and it puts us P8. Now, that was only the first lap in quali, so we're going to slow down, do a little cool down lap, build up some battery charge again, and then go for another push lap. Now, as you can see here, we've got Carlos Sainz behind us, so I drive off the track on purpose to get Carlos out the way. Our teammate Fittipaldi goes out the way too. And a very annoying glitch that was on last year's game, and they still haven't fixed it for this year's game. Right now, I don't know if you can tell, you can see that arrow there, the red arrow on the left hand side of the screen. We have a car next to us, it's Lewis Hamilton, and he just refuses to overtake us, bro. I'm trying to let him past. Hamilton obviously going to be way faster than us. So if we start a push lap now with Hamilton behind and he's pushing him, it's going to impede our lap because he's going to try and overtake us. So I was trying to let Hamilton overtake us while we're both doing out laps, but he just wouldn't do it. So I thought, oh, you know what, I'll ignore him. Let's go into this lap. Coming out to the final turn then. Again, so tricky to try and get the power down through that corner, but activating DRS, and already Hamilton on his push lap pulling out of our slipstream, trying to overtake us down to turn 1. He should just overtook us before Hamilton, but he's overtook us now, and it's actually a good thing because the flat out section on this track is where we lost a lot of the time in this qualifying session, and in the race our car is just not very fast in a straight line. Well, I guess the section's not a straight line, but it's flat out, you know, so our top speed is not great. So to have Hamilton in front of us getting towards that section, it would be very nice because we'll sit in his slipstream. Obviously, his car punches a hole in the air, and we can just follow behind it. So here we go into the flat out section. We are flat out now for quite some time, but already you can see Hamilton pulling away. Just the difference in speed there between the two cars, but we're up in the Delta, so clearly that slipstream is helping us. We're going 500ths faster than our fastest lap into the braking zone for the chicane, avoiding the curbs too much. Again, touching it a bit too much on the second curb though, getting a bit of oversteer, which would be correct, and our Delta is pretty much flat now, so it's not improving on the previous lap that we did do. Obviously red through sector 1, which I actually thought we went better through sector 1, because if you remember in the first lap we had a bad turn 1, so we improved on that but still went red in the sector, which means it was worse than our best. And then getting through the last corner now, again, back end stepping out, trying to get on the throttle, and too early into the wall. Thankfully not losing a tyre. We lost our front wing though, but we got on the throttle way too early there. I think I was 1/10 down in the Delta. I just took too much liberty in trying to push for more time, but it is what it is. We're currently P19, which is better than P22, but like the first 2 races that we qualified, but I still want to try and improve on that if we can. So we're getting through turn 1 and turn 2 there, and we are nearly 3/10 up, getting into the turn 3, which is very nice to see. So can we nail this lap? 2/10 up through the first 2 corners, 3/10 up now, get into the next one. This left-hander quite tricky again to try and swing the car through. Flat out through this turn in 6th gear, riding a lot of the curb on the exit into the braking zone. We really need to capitalise on the exit here because we are down into that straight section. A nice exit into the straight section, 2/10 up in the Delta, and the Delta is still climbing. Now we've hit a peak a little bit because of course our straight line speed is not great, so we are going to suffer in the race here for sure, especially because this is a DRS zone, so people will have DRS behind us. But into the chicane, bit wobbly through the first curb on the entry there, but a great exit still, and we are nearly 4/10 up on our previous best lap. This could be a great lap. Will we see us through to Q2, using a lot of curb on the exit there, using as much of the track as possible that we can do, and again on the exit, 5/10 up now, nearly 6/10 into the final turns. A nice exit, one final turn. Can we not spin it into the wall again? Using a lot of curb on the exit, hitting the DRS zone. Not a great exit there, but still nearly 5.5 up, and it's going to put us P17. Of course, in my team, it's the top 16 that get through to Q2. Not quick enough for Q2 yet, but a big improvement on the first 2 races there, yeah? Finishing P18. Enzo Fittipaldi, the first time this season we've out-qualified our teammate. Fittipaldi finishing P20. Obviously, our car really struggling with that top speed, which is why it'll be massive to get those weight reduction upgrades that we have put on. But let's get to the race.
You can hear the Australian fans roaring as they line the track here in Albert Park. Welcome to Melbourne, and the roar from the crowd can only mean one thing. It's race day. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Hamilton, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Gasly, Bottas, Joe, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Albon, the Professor, Hulkenberg, Fittipaldi, De Vries, Fittipaldi. And now it's time to head down to the track. Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, the regulations aren't new anymore, but the teams and the drivers are still coming to terms with them. I firmly believe it's also track specific. We've seen some wheel-to-wheel racing throughout the year. Some tracks lend themselves better to it than others. I'd like to see it at every race in the whole season. Is that too much to ask?
There we go then, people, getting into the race. One-stop strategy here in Australia. I did up the race length, by the way, so it gives us more option in strategy. We could go for a 2-stop, but in this race we are going for the 1-stop, setting up our formation lap. The formation lap, you just go around the track, get some heat into the tyres. As you can see, we're weaving side to side down the straight here. Not too aggressively, because I don't want to go to the dirty side of the track and get these tyres too dirty to start the race. But let's see if we can get a good parking spot in our grid place, and yes, we do. It's perfect. So let's hope we can get off the line quick. Yeah, the last 2 races we've been slow off the line. I've been practicing on our race start, and here we go, boys. Verstappen on pole. Who'd have thought it? It is 5 red lights as we wait. It is no red lights, and off we go. A decent start compared to the last 2 races anyway. A very good start, to be fair. Quicker than everyone behind us, and we've got the jump on Tsunoda down to turn 1. Albon and Tsunoda wheel to wheel through turn 1 there as we try and go around the outside of Alex Albon. A bit of contact maybe with Albon's back wheel, but Albon stays ahead and Tsunoda stays ahead into the next braking zone. Easy to send it up the inside into this one. Are we going to be able to do it on Tsunoda? Yes, we are. Morgan Elliott down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. Can he make that move stick? It's wheel to wheel through that corner and into the next one. It's too wide again. Morgan Elliott pushing Yuki Tsunoda here. He's got the inside line for the next corner, and that is a great overtake. And Tsunoda wobbling on the exit there. Tsunoda gets out of shape on the curb, but a great overtake up the inside from Morgan Elliott, and great racing from all the drivers to start this race. No contact, no yellow flags coming out, no damage to anyone in the start of this race. That is lovely to see. But already Alex Albon flying ahead. You can see by looking at the delta times in the top left, the split times, that we have no straight line speed in this car. Yeah, Alex Albon was 1.1 tenths or 1.1 seconds I should say, sorry, ahead at the start of the flat out section, and pretty much by the end of it he'd gained nearly 9 tenths. So if we're going to be losing 9 tenths a lap on that section, that is not good. What we need is to try and get DRS on somebody. Yeah, you get DRS by being within 1 second of the car in front at certain sections of the track. The DRS is a slot on the back of the spoiler that lifts up, allows more air to pass through so you can go faster in a straight line. So we need to try and close the gap to Albon before DRS gets activated, get within his DRS range, and hopefully he can pull us along and give us that boost that we need every time we go down that straight. It's going to be tough, but as you can see, we've closed the gap already. We are quick through the corners. Yeah, we are very quick through the corners, making up a lot of time there. It's just that one portion where our top speed just lets us down completely. A bit of oversteer there. Already on lap 2, we're pushing these tyres very hard. They're going to be overheating, even though it's only lap 2. Yeah, we are pushing so hard that the tyres will start to overheat very early on in this race, possibly. But again, 1 second the gap to Albon down the flat out section now, and you can just feel the difference in the cars, bro. Yeah, again, Albon, he's got the slipstream of Piastri in front, fair enough, so he will be faster, but again, lap 3 getting towards the same section, or the end of that section I should say, and Albon is now 2 seconds ahead. Tsunoda, we've managed to create a bit of a gap to Tsunoda behind. He's 1.2 behind, so Tsunoda won't have DRS on us anytime soon, but Tsunoda starting on the soft tyres. Soft tyres obviously a better option early on in the race compared to these medium tyres, but we will last longer than Tsunoda. A bit of oversteer there again. You see, I'm very quick to correct the oversteer. I definitely do prefer a car that oversteers more than understeers though. Oversteers when the back end kicks out, and understeer is when you turn into a corner and the car sort of just goes straight rather than turning in fully. Various reasons why those two can happen, but yeah, like I say, I'm trying to cater towards F1 fans and the new F1 fans alike with this series, so apologies to any F1 fans who know all this stuff. I'm not trying to make you sound like an idiot, I'm just explaining to people who may not know. But Yuki Tsunoda has closed the gap. Yeah, I thought he might have sent it down the inside there. Like I say, in the first lap, we tried to do it on Tsunoda, and it's a nice overtaking opportunity in this Australian Grand Prix. But Tsunoda too far behind to send it, but I don't imagine he'll be too far behind for long. It's lap 4 now, so DRS is activated. You can see the gap to Elliott and Albon is 2.8 seconds now. We're just trying to make our car as wide as possible through this section as the DRS flap opens on Tsunoda's car, and he's right on our gearbox, yeah? Hugging the back of Morgan Elliott's car there. Into the chicane. Is he going to send it? No, Elliott stays ahead. Tsunoda pushing hard though, and there's a big train starting to pick up behind, and Tsunoda and Hülkenberg now looking for a move on Tsunoda. Are they going to go too wide into the next corner? Hopefully they do. Albon pushing Piastri in front. They're off into the distance, but they are pushing each other, so hopefully they will slow each other down, allow our pack to catch up as we come down towards the main straight now to start lap 5. We will slowly see that there is a big pile of cars in front of us. As you can see, look at that, how many cars are there together going down the main straight. Hopefully we can catch up soon. Yeah, because if those cars start trying to overtake each other, it allows us to catch up. Morgan Elliott goes to the inside to defend against Tsunoda through turn 1. Tsunoda's ahead, and there's smoke out of the back of Morgan Elliott's car, and that is going to be the end of Morgan Elliott's race on lap 5. Engine failure. Wow, let's get a replay of that. Let's go back and see the onboard with Elliott and see that moment that did happen. Coming through the final 2 corners here. into the braking zone. Nothing wrong, yeah, with the car. No warning from the engineer. Just a freak incident. Bit of oversteer, and there we go. The engine just goes. It's the MGUH, I believe, that goes. It is 99% wear, so the engine has failed. All the smoke out the back, and Morgan Elliott retires from the race due to mechanical failure. I was really enjoying this race as well. It was a really fun race. Decent qualifying session. Felt good to drive around this circuit. But unfortunately, our race is cut short. Hopefully our teammate Fittipaldi can go and finish off the race strong for us, because we're only going to have one driver left in this race. A sad sight to see, but that's what happens when you've got a new team to Formula 1, new engine, durability not really there. No upgrades in the durability R&D tree. So that's probably going to be the first of many retirements this season. I hope it's not though, because, you know, I mean, who wants to retire? Nobody does, you know what I mean? Especially in a race like that. At least it happened early on though, that's all I'll say. If we got to lap 25 instead of lap 5 and then the engine failed, that is when it feels like, oh my god, EA, can you not just do it at the start of the race? I've just wasted an hour of my life driving a car for it to blow up. So, at least it happened early on, but Charles Leclerc goes ahead to win the race. Carlos Sainz in P3 and Max Verstappen in P2 there. So, for once, Verstappen didn't win the race, even though he was on pole, so he must have made a mistake somewhere, or just allowed Leclerc to overtake and couldn't fight back. So it's nice to see, anyway, a bit of diversity in the winners section. I thought we were just going to skip this part in every race in the season, because it was just going to be Max, Max, Max every time they won. But maybe somebody might actually be able to compete with Max, unlike real-life Formula 1. Yeah, the less we say about that, the better. Fall asleep every week watching the race, because it's just a Max victory. But anyway, at least our career mode is more entertaining than real life. Just 3 races in. Leclerc setting the fastest lap there as well, which of course, if you finish in the top 10 and get the fastest lap, you get an extra point. So Leclerc picks up 26 points. Our teammate Fittipaldi finishing P18. He started P20 on the grid, climbed up 2 places, and that was only because Morgan Elliott and Alex Albon retired. So yeah, it's a shame to see as well, because I think we could have done well in that race there. Constructor standings, Dream Racers at the very bottom. AlphaTauri down here with us as well on 0 points. Haas and Alfa Romeo actually picked up points in that race there, so they climb up the rankings a bit. Oscar Piastri, Fittipaldi, our teammates finishing P9, or not finishing, I'm all over the place. Piastri, oh my god, I've done it again. Fittipaldi is 19th in the driver's standings, and our driver, main driver, Morgan Elliott, is P22, dead last. Like I said, I think we could have had a good result there. The 2 drivers we were fighting, Tsunoda and Magnussen, finished P13 and P12 respectively. So we could have finished P11 or even in that top 15 at least. It would have been a nice result for Morgan Elliott, especially after the first 2 races of the season didn't really go our way. We lost major driver XP there for no reason. It wasn't like it was Elliott's fault that the car blew up. You literally have no control over that. But it is what it is. Let's go across to the engine. We're going to have to replace that part now. Our Formula 1 engine is made up of multiple parts. You can see them on the screen here. The ICE, internal combustion engine, MGUK, the MGUH, which is what blew up on us. So we're going to have to replace that part. The energy store, the turbocharger, and the control electronics make up the rest of the parts. And of course, you have a gearbox too. So we have to replace our MGUH. You only have a certain amount of these components. You can see there the 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many of the components you have for a whole season. If you take any more than that, it's a grid penalty. Now, unfortunately, we did retire, but fortunately for the retirement, we get a bit of a positive from it. We get 400 R&D points to reinvest into the car because of that failure. And there was also an ERS failure, which gave us an extra 200 points, which I didn't even know there was an ERS failure. But yeah, I guess there was, you know. We put on our activities. As always, make sure you get your activities done. It's just free stuff, and who doesn't like free stuff? Now it's time to pick a rival. We have to pick a rival. It doesn't really matter. You get extra XP and points for finishing above your rival in things like quali in the race. We pick Logan Sargent because I think we'll smash Williams this season in terms of our development, and Logan Sargent is by far the worst driver on the grid, so I think we'll smash Logan Sargent, picking him as our rival. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon there, but you can see Dream Racers are above Williams anyway in the drivers, or the vehicle comparison chart I should say. Now speaking of long straights, like in Australia here, we have Baku Azerbaijan Grand Prix coming up next. Very long straights there. Drag reduction upgrade would be massive for this race, and it's going to come in before that race, which is a huge one. So Can we get our weight reduction upgrade and our drag reduction upgrade before the Baku Grand Prix? We're also picking up an engine power upgrade, which will give us even more power, getting out of corners and down the straights, more top speed, which is lovely to see, because getting into Baku, we're really going to need that. But our beam wing upgrade has failed. I believe that was the rear downforce upgrade. Yes, it was. So we're going to have to restart that for half the price. It's annoying. When the thing fails, you have a 0% chance of failure the second time, but you've got to pay half the price of what you paid originally. So we basically paid for the upgrade 1.5 times, which is very annoying, because at the start of this career mode, our resources are very limited. So we have to try and make the most of each of our upgrades. The beam wing upgrade comes through. The next one to come through is going to be that weight reduction upgrade and the engine power upgrade coming through on the same day, so I can't wait to get those on the car. Psych! They both failed. This episode has gone from bad to worse. Our luck to start this season has been terrible. The weight reduction upgrade, major weight reduction upgrade, and now we're going to restart it. We won't even get it until after the Miami Grand Prix. You saw in the comparison chart there, Dream Racers has the worst chassis on the grid, which is not nice. You know, we have to advance a few more days to get more points to restart the engine upgrade, which we'll get before Miami. But the main one was that weight reduction. At least we have our drag reduction upgrade. Psych again. You thought again. Yeah, another failure. This is crazy. All these upgrades had 30% chance of failure, and 3 of them failed. Like, what are the odds of that? And now we can't even afford it. We can get it before the Italian Grand Prix, but that's just so annoying, bro. I really wanted that drag reduction and weight reduction upgrades before Baku. It would have gave us such a good fighting chance, I think, in Baku to climb up some places and fight against people like Haas, AlphaTauri, you know. But it is what it is. The season goes from bad to worse. Hopefully our luck improves going forward. I appreciate everyone who's watching this series and supporting it. I know it's a bit different from what I normally do on the channel. Well, it's not really. I started on F1. Well, I started on FIFA, then went to F1, then went back to FIFA, and that's where most of the audience has come from. But I appreciate it if you're watching this series and you'd know nothing about F1. You just came for the FIFA content and thought, I'll check this out. Hopefully you are enjoying, and hopefully I'm doing a good job of explaining things that you might not know. If you are a newbie to F1, let me know in the comments if there's anything you want me to explain better or just go into more depth about in the next few episodes, and I'll try and do that for you. But if you did enjoy, like, comment, share, subscribe, you know the vibes, and I'll catch you next time, people. Take it easy.